to another DorkLair action figure review. Today I'm taking a look at the Cosmic Legion's Sphexxian Prison Guard test shot. So we've made it to the 11th and final test shot review. And this is going to be a pretty short one, similar to the way it went with the Engineer, because this one is almost exactly the same in test shot form as the Block Commander. The only difference that I can tell, and I don't have them in hand both right now, I only have this one in hand, but I did review the Block Commander, and the only difference that I can tell is this head sculpt. And maybe like an accessory or two. But for the most part, I think the rest of the figure is identical. So if you want a more thorough look at this entire figure, go check out my Sphexxian Block Commander review, because that's the same figure. And once again, I do want to thank Miles Copland for helping me with these final 4 figures. It was a real blessing to be able to get these locally and not have to, ship them all separately to different people. So really big help there, Miles. Thank you very much. And again, congrats, dude, on completing your trades to fulfill your own quest of getting all 11 Cosmic Legion's test shots in hand. That's an awesome accomplishment. Nicely done, dude. And here's a look at this head sculpt that seems to be helmeted, right? So the previous one, the Block Commander, the head was bare. It was very much an organic insect-looking head. And aside from these mandibles that are protruding out, I think the rest of this seems like a helmet. I guess the mandibles and maybe the antenna would be organic, and then the rest of this is tech. It's like a helmet, and the head that we saw on the other one would be sort of underneath this. And that's the big difference. I mean, we can still take a look at all the awesome details here on this figure. I mean, it's just incredible. I cannot wait for these to be in hand, to be, the fully painted ones in hand. Like when all of this detail's all painted up and stuff, and the wings, I believe the wings will be translucent with some shimmery colors throughout this thing. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, really cool looking figure. But I think for the most part, all the arms, the torso, even the chest piece, I kind of looked it up, that with these little pieces coming off, I think that's the same. Belt, I think, is the same. Yeah, but just a quick look at this guy. And he's got that tail that plugs into the boom boom hole over here. So there's a little bit of wiggle room there with the tail. But yeah, there's your look. There's your close-up of the Prison Guard. And then here's the overall silhouette of the Prison Guard. He stands just above 7 inches at the head, and the antenna kind of brings it up a little bit closer to 7.5 inches or so, depending on how you pose it. And here we have the Sphexxian next to the heroic women of Cosmic Legions. On the left is Vorga, and on the right is Ziri. Here we have the Tusk Legion builders. On the left is the Sentry. On the right is the Engineer. And giving you a sense of the sheer size of this guy, a couple bigger figures, 7-inch scale figures. On the left is the Masterverse Skeletor from the exclusive 2-pack. And on the right is the NECA Ultimate Warduke. And then we have a couple winged insects. On the left is the Classics Buzz-Off, and on the right is a kit-bashed Valaverse Action Force Swarm Trooper. And last but not least, some 80s vibes. We have on the left the Ramen Toy Quicksilver from Silverhawks. Thanks again, Curtis. And on the right is the Ultimate NECA Elf. For accessories, he's got this incredibly detailed, awesome rifle here. Alien tech. Right there, that thing is sick. I love this piece. And then the other accessory it comes with is this spear or sort of staff-like weapon that's got sort of these blades on there. Maybe it's got some electricity, maybe for prodding the prisoners and the gladiators and whatnot. And then he's got this pair of smaller arms that really should be plugged into the figure over here into these side ports, but again, not my figure, and I'm just trying to do as little as possible to it to preserve the condition of a figure that's not mine. Most of the figures seem to come with the 2 of these little pieces that port into the little arm ports right here, or other parts that share that same port, as well as a couple different sizes of these sort of plug adapter pieces for attaching different things to those same ports. In addition to the open hands that are currently on the figure, it does come with 2 pairs of trigger hands the pair on the right has the horizontal hinges and the pair on the left has the vertical hinges. And 2 pairs of regular gripping hands, and some of these are still on the rack. I love it. Same thing here, a pair of horizontally hinged gripping hands and a pair of vertically hinged gripping hands. And finally, for articulation, the head is on a ball joint that can look up a little bit, down a little bit, and cock side to side. And of course, you can twist all the way around. And then the rest of the body really is a Mythic Legion's 1.0 style body. One key thing to note is that there is a hinge and swivel on the wings there, and then just remove the wings so you can see the rest. And then this sort of backpack shoulder piece will get in the way a little bit of some of that swivel at the shoulder. And then there's also a hinge at the shoulder, single joint at the elbow right here, twist at the forearm, and then a hinge and swivel at the wrist. Same type of ball joint at the waist. And again, I'm just being very gentle with this because I'm not going to push anything with this being a test shot and basically irreplaceable. But just trust me, it has that ball joint at the waist. At the hips, you do have the hinge and rotation. You have a rotation at the upper thigh, that single jointed knee, again, twist below the knee, ankle rocker, and hinge and twist at the top of the ankle as well. And yeah, sorry I'm not getting crazy with the articulation, but this particular figure is a little bit stiff in certain places, so I'm just not going to push it. I just want to return it to its owner in pristine condition. The big takeaway on this one is that more tech-based helmet-like head sculpt. The rest of it is very much the same, at least sculpt-wise, as the Block Commander. Now, this one and the Block Commander are going to look very much different in hand because they have quite drastically different paint jobs. One's sort of blue and one's sort of more of an orangey kind of a color. But other than that, they're very much the same figure. An awesome, awesome type of character. Just look at that thing. Kind of reminds me of some of the characters in the Fifth Element, things like that. Just a lot of inspiration going into these guys. But overall, to me, these are very much like almost like Geonosians, especially when you see the painted versions of them. Anyway, thanks for watching my video. Thanks for watching this whole series of test shot reviews. I know they get a little bit repetitive, and I was starting to get a little run down by them because there's a lot of repetition going on, especially without the paint applications. But thanks for sticking with me. Thanks again to everyone who not only sent me figures, but also people who like contacted me, and it just, you know, it made more sense to grab it from someone else, or logistically it made more sense or whatever. Everybody who, you know, reached out to me, I'm super appreciative of all of that, and especially to Miles Copland for this specific figure and the other 3 figures that Miles sent me. Thanks again, dude, and until next time, may the Force be with you.